brand positioning through magnetic messaging perpetually displayed to your perfect ideal prospect, and to do so while having the appearance of your being absolutely everywhere in their universe. It will seem a bit complex, but then you'll realize it actually isn't all that complex. It starts with something called magnetic messaging. What is magnetic messaging? Your clients have problems, which for you is pretty good because they pay you to solve them. For them, it's pretty bad. Here's the deal. You have solutions to those problems. That's how you earn money. Magnetic messaging is a framework for creating a presence in your marketplace that highlights you as an authority on solving your prospects' problems. This is easier than it sounds. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you how to do it. All of that during this video. Once you have your magnetic messaging mapped out, you distribute it with something called targeted omnipresence. In this video, I'm going to give you an overview of how targeted omnipresence works. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you how to map out your magnetic messaging. Let's talk about targeted omnipresence. This is an overview of the entire process. Several steps. Really simple. The first thing we want to do is, once we know what to say, don't worry, we'll figure that out in a minute. Once you know what to say, we're going to write a helpful article on your blog. Good thing about blog is that they're really cheap and easy to set up and maintain. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a Facebook post on your fan page. You're going to need to have a real Facebook fan page. A fan page. We're going to make a Facebook post to that article. We're going to drive people to that article. It's going to start giving us a little bit of traffic. In that same time frame, we're going to create a video covering the same messaging that you just did in your article. Basically, you're taking that article and you're just turning that content into a video. Before you let the concept of making a video freak you out, you should know that this type of video works great. If it's just your voiceover and a screen flow, or what do you call it, a PowerPoint presentation, that's totally fine. As a matter of fact, it has been tested live on camera, highly produced videos versus little video slides and a voiceover. And believe it or not, these little videos like those actually got completed more than the fancy kind, which is good news for us because it might mean that you don't have to spend a whole lot of time and money trying to make the video look fancy like we're doing right here. Once you've created a video covering the same messaging that you did in your article, then what you do is you take that video and you post it to your YouTube channel. You're going to need a YouTube channel too. Another good thing about that YouTube channel is they're free, and that's pretty sweet. You post a video to your YouTube channel. The next step there is you post that YouTube video on Facebook. Now you're driving traffic to the YouTube video as well. They're seeing the video on Facebook. They can go to your YouTube channel there. Finally, you extract the audio from your video and you use that audio as a podcast. Look at all these steps here. We're talking about articles, videos, Facebook blogs, YouTube, podcasts. Sounds like a lot of work, doesn't it? Here's the deal. It's actually not if you think about it. What you're really doing is you're writing one blog post and then you're just taking the same content of that blog post and then you're recording a video out of it. If you wanted to, you could just put the main slides to cover exactly what you said in the blog and then just make a video of those slides, just like I'm doing right now in this particular part. Then you're posting stuff. Your real work is actually writing one blog post and then making a video saying the same thing that you said in the blog post. Then you're just making Facebook posts and stuff, and that's not hard. Now, why are we doing all this? The mission here is to basically draw people to you. We're really accomplishing several things, actually. First, we're seeding the ground for something called low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit are people who know you, who like you, and who trust you, and they want your stuff to begin with. These are your easy sales. People say, man, Victor, you've been really good at all this sort of stuff, and you have an unfair advantage because everybody knows you. And that's true. And the reason they do is because I do stuff like this a lot. If you want to have that, where people know you and they like you and they trust you and you don't have to sell all that hard, That's what this whole thing is for. We're seeding the ground with low-hanging fruit. The second thing we're doing is we're building a situation where your ideal prospects will start seeing you everywhere. Here's the thing. Actually, the third thing I want to take. Well, the fourth thing is we're providing attractive bait for them. This is the deal. Today, when people start getting in the mood to buy something expensive, especially something expensive, it's pretty rare that they just see something, they immediately buy it. It just doesn't happen that way. If you think about your own behavior, you'll see. When you're selling something like advice, like consulting or coaching or professional services or like that, and people get the bug about your stuff, what they're typically going to do is they're going to consume everything they can by you, not because they're investigating you or checking you up, but because they like it. The more of that you have out there, the more likely you are to accelerate the process between someone finding out about you and someone pulling the trigger and contacting you about becoming a customer or becoming a client. I know this from my own personal experience. You've probably had it happen in your life, except you was the customer. First time it ever happened to me, I read about a guy named Frank Kern. I can't even remember how I heard about him, but I started looking for him on YouTube. I listened to everything by him that I could. I watched everything by him that I could on YouTube, listened to every interview I could by him, every podcast I could by him, and I finally wrote to his office and said, please take my money. There was no marketing to me at all. Why? Because I was low-hanging fruit as a result of all the stuff that he posted. I should say that from the time I heard about Frank Kern until the time I gave money was very short. It was maybe a few weeks because there was so much stuff, I was able to consume it all. I was really getting into it and I was like, man, this guy is great. Go ahead and take my money. They never even actually had to send me a sales letter, which is perfect. Is that going to happen every time? No. But we want to facilitate it happening because if you have enough going on, you start having a little bit of a system. You build a pipeline. What we're ultimately going to do with all this material is we're driving your ideal prospects to a campaign. That's how all this stuff works. Let me get you a visual process just to make it simple, because I know it might seem overwhelming. Here's the deal. We've got really 4 things. You put an article on the blog, that's WordPress. If you're not techie, that's totally fine. WordPress is free. It comes with every internet hosting account in the world, and you can set it up by literally pressing a button. The blogs are really, really easy to use. That's wonderful. We just write a blog post, then we go to Facebook and we say, hey, I just wrote this new blog post about XYZ, and you can check it out here. Now, I know you might be wondering, what are we going to write the blog post about? Don't worry about that. This is just an overview right now. Our hardest work so far has been writing a blog post. Not too hard. And we went to Facebook and said, go check out my blog post. You know, you probably make a lot of Facebook posts every day, so that's not going to be hard either. What's going to happen now is that people are going to start going to the blog and they're going to start liking your Facebook page. They're going to start getting value from you, and we go and we take that very same thing that we wrote on the blog and we just make a video out of it. If you're good on camera, get on camera. If you're not good on camera, don't get on camera. If you don't have good lights, you don't have a good studio, then don't worry about it. Make a screen cam video. People like those. You just want to record that video, upload it to YouTube, and then you just want to strip the audio out of that video and turn it into a podcast. We've taken that one blog post and we've now created 3 assets from it. We have the blog post itself, we have the video, and we have the podcast. Your market is going to want to get help from you in multiple ways. This is why we're doing it. We're using Facebook as a means to start distributing that content. Ultimately, all of this stuff is going to drive people to some sort of a lead capture page, an opt-in page where they can either opt in for a free report about the stuff you're talking about, or they can request to talk to you or something. We'll talk about that a little bit later, but here's the overview. It all sounds, and it is, very simple to do, and it's not that hard to write a blog post, and it's not that hard to make a simple screen cam video. Here's the facts. I don't want you to oversimplify it. Number one, if you have absolutely no market presence, meaning no one has ever heard of you ever, then using this method is going to take a little bit of time. And that's totally cool. That's fine. If no one knows you, you don't have a Facebook following, and you don't have a list, then it may take a little more time to build some momentum. The second thing I want you to understand is this is not a substitute for actual advertising, but it does make your advertising more effective. I'll show you how to tie this in with advertising here later in our work together. Now, this doesn't mean that, hey, you just go out and make a blog post on Facebook all day long, that's all you do, and you get rich. That's not what I'm telling you, but this does actually help you when you start advertising. This isn't an overnight mission. It's not like you're going to write one blog post in the world is going to start coming to you saying, please take my money. You need to be doing one piece of content per week. If you think about it, if it takes you like 4 hours to do this every week or something, that's kind of a lot. Really? Well, then it's worth it, because by the end of the year, you've got 52 different pieces of content. Actually, you've got 52 times 3. You've got 52 blog posts, 52 videos, and 52 episodes of a podcast. You're everywhere. You're the real deal. You're legit. Hey, if you do 2 a week, you're crushing it. You're really, really rocking out. Now, that's the overview of this thing. And I'm now going to get into it a little bit more as we gradually get into the rest of this study. And on our next video, I'm going to tell you how to find out what your magnetic messaging should be, because you don't want to just write a blog post or a video about random stuff. In fact, there's just a small window of stuff that you want to talk about. That's the stuff that you're good at. Now, I hope you enjoyed this overview. It's really simple to do. It's no problem. You got this. You'll get through it. But we've got to start with what do you want to say. And now that you know the overview, we'll start figuring out what you're going to say. And I will see you in the next video.